Hello, and today I'm going to talk to you a bit more about hierarchy because I think it's a really useful concept. So if you're out there and you're watching me live, say hi. If you're watching this on replay, say hi as well. You can do hashtag replay and say hi. What that means is that when I go live, you're more likely to get a notification that I've gone live, and it will give you a heads up as to the times I go live. So last week I spoke about hierarchy, and the video is still below if you want to take a look at that. And if you join my mailing list, you'll also see I will be sending out a copy of this week's video and last week's video as my latest blog, and they'll be probably slightly higher quality than Facebook Live seem to be. So today I wanted to talk to you and take a different perspective on hierarchy. So we talked last week about the one up and one down, the I'm okay, you're not okay, or which is the one up position, and the you're okay, but I'm not okay, which is the one down position. There's also the I'm okay, I'm not okay, and you're not okay, which is the worst position, and the one that is most effective, in my opinion, the I'm okay, you're okay life position. Now, if we think about this in terms of hierarchy, we're putting ourselves in the hierarchy, but we're also putting our audience in a hierarchy. And that can affect how we react to them. And you may discover that the audience that you put higher up in the hierarchy is the one you find most challenging to perform for. So the more you respect or fear the opinion of an audience, the more pressure it may put on you, and the higher up or the more power you are giving them in the hierarchy. So for example, if you're going before an audition panel, they have power. They have the power to grant or deny you, for some people, your dreams, whether that's a place at college or a role, the particular role that you've been dreaming of having. And you may find that the more important the role or the place you want to get, the higher up in that hierarchy they go, and the more distant you feel from them and the more separate. And that affects our ability to connect with them because we are less likely to be ourselves, and we're more likely to feel like we have to defer to them. In coaching, there's this thing called the deference threshold, and we can feel like our deference threshold has been triggered, and suddenly we're performing in a way that doesn't reflect who we are, that makes us feel inadequate and inept because we've put them so far up in the hierarchy. We are deferring to them, and we feel pressure, and we feel very separate from them, and that can trigger the fight, flight, freeze reaction. So let's have a think about where they actually are. These people are people. They may be very, very good at a particular skill or art. They may not be as good in their heads as other people perceive them. They may be better in their heads as other people perceive them. They'll have their own self-image. But they also come with their vulnerabilities, and they come with their insecurities. If they're on an audition panel, maybe they're worried about what will be judged of them if they choose the wrong person, in inverted commas. Is there a right and a wrong person, or just a really good person to have and another good person to have? So they may be feeling that pressure. They may be feeling inadequate. They may be on a high and think, yeah, I'm really good at this, blah, blah, blah. In which case they may be more open just to seeing people as they are. But they will be putting you in a hierarchy as well. But that talks to their insecurities and their humanity. And if you put yourself in the one down position, have a think about how that may come across to them. If you are perceiving yourself as one down to them and go into the submissive, someone beeping outside my window, you go into the submissive and perhaps sometimes the apologetic or so the flight, I want to get out of here, or make myself small, or even the aggressive and the fight. You may have that reaction, but you're not staying authentic and who you really are. So you may come across as somebody who's not easy to work with, or somebody who's too apologetic, instead of just being you. So if you can move yourself to that space where you're not amazing, you're not terrible, you may be very skilled, but you are in as a human, you're just as okay as everybody else in the room, including the members of the audition panel, then think about how that means you will approach them. You are approaching them neither here nor here. You are approaching them here. And if you just look at that position, if I can line them up right, there's a greater ability to connect there. And if they're looking for somebody who can connect with their audience, how powerful is that? And if we approach our standard audiences that way, if we approach them on the same level as them, I'm okay, you're okay, again, there is greater capacity for connection. And if they're approaching us above or below, we can think about what's going on for them. And when we start to go and use that empathy to think about what might be going on for them, it can change our perspective and remove some of that insecurity. They're most likely reacting to us because of, in a certain way, because of stuff that's going on for them. Back to my favorite quote, which is, the sooner we learn that other people's responses to us say more about their stuff than our stuff, the happier we will be. So if someone is rude or aggressive or submissive or whatever they are, it's often saying more about their stuff, even if we might be triggering their stuff by being like their mother or being like their daughter or being like, think of a father or a son or whatever it is, or a previous partner or the first director they ever worked with. Even if we're triggering their stuff, it's their stuff. And if we can stay in that space where I'm okay, and although your stuff is being triggered, you are still okay. Think about how that increases our capacity to connect with them, but also to stay calm. Even if we make a mistake, we are still okay. We just made a mistake. And there ain't nobody out there who's never made a mistake. And there isn't a performer out there who's never messed up on stage. If they have continually put themselves out on stage, you talk to any professional, any leading professional, and they will have a story of when things went wrong. Sometimes their fault, sometimes something that's come out of the blue, sometimes somebody else's fault, but things go wrong. And that makes us human. But thinking we are okay and remembering even if they're reacting badly to us, they are okay. Whoever they are, the audience, the audition panel, whoever that may be, can bring us to the space where we can connect and stay, as Brené Brown would say, don't puff up, don't shrink back, stay in your sacred space, because it's in that space that you will produce your best. Okay, thank you very much for listening, and I will hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye.